Welcome back to Miss B Biology. In this video, I will be sharing a revision lesson on communicable diseases. I'll be focusing on fungal and protist diseases. At the end of the lesson, you should know what is a communicable disease and answer questions on rose black spot and malaria. At the end of the lesson, you'll also have a quiz. Ensure that you partake in that. Grab your book, grab your pen, and let us begin. Malaria and rose black spot are said to be communicable diseases. What is a communicable disease? This is a common exam question, usually valuing 2 marks. To score the 2 marks, you need to say that a communicable disease is one that is caused by pathogen. That's where you get 1 mark. And to get the second mark, you need to say that it can be passed from one person or from one plant to another. So communicable diseases are caused by pathogens, but what are pathogens? And do we know examples? Right? So a pathogen is a microorganism that causes disease, and examples would be bacteria, viruses, protists, and fungi. Why do we feel ill when we have an infectious disease? This is a common exam question, and here are the points that you need to have to score. Because microbes, they reproduce quickly and they produce toxins and they damage our cells. That is why we feel ill when we are infected with pathogens. Let us now zoom in on rose black spot, a disease that affects rose plants. This disease is caused by fungus. But how can you tell if a plant is infected? What you'll notice is purple or black spots on the leaves. The leaves may also turn yellow and drop very early. How could this affect the growth of a plant? That is a common exam question. Let us now look at the question deeply. It says, explain how rose black spot disease causes stunted growth in plants. If you look at the leaf to your left, you'll notice that quite a bit of it is yellow. Why? Rose black spot disease causes stunted growth because the fungus destroys cells, so reduces the number of chloroplasts for photosynthesis. Photosynthesis is reduced, so less glucose is made. Glucose is involved in the production of amino acids, and amino acids make protein, which is responsible for growth. So it is a domino effect. Right? So the chloroplasts, they're destroyed, less photosynthesis is taking place, less glucose is made, and less amino acid is made because glucose helps to make amino acid. And if less amino acids are made, then less protein will be made. And we all know that protein is responsible for growth. Mode of transmission of rose black spot pathogen. So what happens is that the spores of the fungus is spread by the wind or by water from the infected to the uninfected plant. Treatment and control of rose black spot using fungicide because it is caused by a fungus, removing and destroying the affected leaves, so they would remove them and burn those leaves. Lastly, breed roses that resist the fungus. Next disease, malaria. Malaria is caused by a type of pathogen that is called protist. The protist is carried by female mosquitoes in their saliva. The mosquito is said to be a vector, so the mosquito is not causing the disease, it is carrying the thing that caused the disease. So the mosquito is said to be a vector. Right? You can write down this definition for vector. Vectors transmit pathogens. Mode of transmission. The protist pathogen cannot pass directly from one person to another. Let us look at how this pathogen is transmitted. So the mosquito bites an infected person. The pathogen passes into the mosquito. The mosquito then bites an uninfected person and passes the pathogen to them. Let's use some diagrams. So this is our infected person. A mosquito comes in, bite that person, and the pathogen passes into the mosquito. This mosquito now becomes a vector. This mosquito now goes on to bite an uninfected person and passes the pathogen to them. That is how the transmission occurs. What you need to also know is that malaria causes recurrent episodes of fever, which could be fatal. The protist pathogen affects the liver and damages red blood cells. Here is a common exam question. Explain why people infected with the malaria pathogen experience weakness. So let's work through this question a bit. We know that if someone is weak, it means that they lack energy. Energy comes from respiration. Remember, oxygen is needed for respiration, and it is our red blood cells that transport oxygen to our cells. So if the pathogen damages red blood cells, it means that less oxygen would be going to our cells. So less respiration would be taking place. So less energy is released, and so people would tend to feel weak. So let's look at the answer. This is because the pathogen damages red blood cells, therefore less oxygen is transported to the cells for respiration. How can we control the spread of malaria? Our focus needs to be on the mosquitoes. We need to avoid getting bitten by the mosquitoes. So we could do that by one, sleeping under a mosquito net that is sprayed with insecticide and wearing long sleeve clothing. We could also control the spread by using insect repellent to avoid being bitten. Another way to control the spread of malaria is to get rid of their breeding site. So remove stagnant water to prevent the vectors from breeding. Remember, that is where they would lay their eggs. If you can't remove the water, then add insecticide to the stagnant water. We can also control the spread of malaria by killing the mosquitoes using insecticide. Travelers may take anti-malarial drugs that kill the pathogen in their blood if they are bitten. Let us get into our quiz now. First question. A communicable disease, A, is caused by vector, B, is caused by pathogen, C, is caused by animals. B, is caused by pathogen. Rose black spot affects A, microorganisms, B, animals, C, plants. The answer is plants. What type of pathogen causes rose black spot? Is it A, fungus, B, protist, C, bacteria? The answer is fungus. How is the rose black spot pathogen spread from one plant to another? Is it A, birds, B, wind, C, farmers? The answer is wind. Plants with rose black spot disease often have yellow leaves. Why? Less chlorophyll, or if you said chlorophyll broken down, you can get the mark. What type of pathogen causes malaria? Very good, protist. How is the malaria pathogen transferred to humans? By mosquito bites. Protist is passed from one person to another person by mosquitoes. What term is used to describe the mosquito? Vector. True or false? Protists reproduce sexually in the mosquito and asexually in the human body. True. Which organ of the body is mainly affected by malaria? The liver. Which blood cell of the body is mainly affected by the pathogen that causes malaria? Red blood cells. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you have learned a lot about communicable diseases, fungal and malaria. And all the best in your exam. Bye bye.